So I'm back for another video. This is my 1000 subscriber special, and because I'm such a good guy, I'm going to teach you guys how to make Python less annoying when you're trying to get it set up. Now, a while back, I started playing around in Python, and honestly, coming from any other package management solution, Python is just the worst. And I'll explain why. In normal programming languages like C# or JavaScript, you have package management, and these package managements allow you to connect up other people's code to your code base, which allows you to do things like make HTTP calls, which allows you to make things like that. In Python, this is just made so much harder because you've got environments and Python versions to worry about, and the tooling behind that is quite difficult to use. So I originally started out using Python with a package manager / virtual environment manager called Conda. And what Conda does is it creates a virtual environment, which is basically a storage for your packages and for your Python version so that you can use that to run whatever program that you're running. Python actually has this out of the box with their VN environments, but Conda seemed to be the better at the time. Anyways, I spent ages trying to set that up. Then I decided to go back to just using the V environments which are given to you in Python, but every time and with every single project, I found that it was super difficult to get to run the project essentially. And that's when I started looking at package management solutions, kind of like, you've got Yarn and NPM in JavaScript, looking at those sorts of solutions in Python. And there's two which came up. There was Poetry, which was pretty heavy-handed, and then was this other one called UV. And UV is written in Rust, and it's crazy fast, and it seemed like the better option. So I decided to go down that route of using UV, and that fixed all of my package management problems. And I'm hoping that it's going to fix your package management problems. So I decided that to start with, I imagine many of you are going to be converting your existing Python code bases to using something like this. So I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I use to get UV set up. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I've got this existing code base here, which I am going to basically run in cursor window that we've got set up here. So we'll run git clone, and we'll clone this weather app that someone has created. We'll go cd weather app, and we'll run through the exact steps that are in here to get started, and we'll see if we can run it. So we'll set up our install requirements.txt using pip, and we'll also make sure that our M file contains a valid weather API. Let me sign up here and see if I can run this. Okay, so we'll get out of this, add in the correct key, we'll save this, restart our app, check out temperature here. Great, so now we know. So this is all working correctly. But the problem is that in terms of actually tracking what versions are going to be on this, what Python versions we're even running, we don't really have any of that information. So that's where something like UV comes in. So UV Python, let's take a look here. So UV Python install, and I've already got it installed on my machine. And you'll see that you can set up different versions of Python to be able to run different things, which is great. Now, because we're working on an existing project, we're wanting to run UV init inside of this project, and that's going to create a main.py file here for us, and also a py project file. So we're probably not necessarily going to want to have our entry point be main.py, so we might actually go in and initialize this in our actual app itself. So we'll just cd app init, and this will create our Python dependencies. And then from here, now we've got our main.py, our readme. From here, we can start to add in our packages. So if we go to this one here, this will allow us to add all of our dependencies into our actual package management file, which is this PyProject, and we should be able to access it by going up a level. Let's try the add dash. Yep, cool. And then we can see all of the requirements which were in our requirements folder being added directly into here. UV's also handling our .venv, which is this one here. If we don't have the .venv file, essentially any installs that we do, so that install that we did when we initially set this up with the requirements.txt file, that just installs directly to your operating system all of the packages, so it installs globally. So having these venv files basically isolates the installs directly to your project, so we with the global project. So now one thing you'll notice here is we got these fastapi responses being not really correctly resolved, even though we've installed it. That's where we need to implement our launch configuration. And the easiest way to do that is to set up VS Code to go and double check the interpreter. So you could do this by going select interpreter and then entering your interpreter path directly from the project itself. So if we go up here, so we got the weather app, and we go into, if we were able to go into our VM from here, we would be able to target the bin with the actual Python in it. So if I just copy this one, copy path, and then enter that in, it starts resolving things. But you don't want to necessarily do that. You want to be able to configure this to actually go directly to it. So I'm going to just quickly open up another project to copy the settings across. So for those of you who don't know, to debug an app in Python, you set up a VS Code file. In this case, I've just gone in directly into the project because whenever I run it, if it's in a parent folder, it will try and debug it from the top. So if we just run it using this debugger, it says there's no model weather service. We just add in the dot. It should restart and start running. We can see that it is running correctly on where it's supposed to be, which is right. But if we save this and then close this, and yeah, you can see that I tried to check the launch.json. But if we open cursor directly within our weather app again, and we try to run this main.py from the debugger, it's picking it up exactly as it's supposed to. That's great. Guys, something you might encounter is you might encounter the imports. If you do encounter imports, you can add to this scheme Python and then put in your interpreter path, which in this case will be the path directly to, so I think it's going to be workspace, something like workspace /app/ and then I think it is Python, and that will just tell Python, that will tell VS Code when you open it that the interpreter path for this file is in that particular location. So when we get rid of all of this and go back to our main, we won't get any errors coming up. I don't know why it's just not gone through and done that now, but let's just try the debugging again. Here we go, I've buggered it. Let's take a look. .venv bin /Python. And then we go main. If we run this again, it's fine. It's able to pick up everything that we're doing. And our API is still working, which is fine, which means that everything's pointing to where it's supposed to point to. Now, the point of this video was to show you exactly how UV works and how to get your Python environment set up. I hope this helps. Essentially, the essential steps are use UV to manage the packages that you have along with versioning. This will help you avoid hell when stuff isn't working together. Remember, you've got your UV lock file, which basically is a way of tracking all of the dependencies in the way that they've been installed so that it will install exactly like that whenever you're sharing your code with someone else. And then you've got your launch file, which will make sure that when you're doing this sort of stuff in VS Code, it will all work correctly. Now, with a particular project, if the launch file that it comes with isn't working, you can delete the launch file and then try and see if you can run it again, and it will basically create that. Now, if we get out of here and we try and run this file, it may come up with an error, but there's an easy way around that. Could not import model main. So if we go into here, we need to make sure that we've got app.main there. And if we restart this, we'll see that we're actually able to get into it. So it's usually wherever the entry point is. For fastapi, just adding in app.main means that we're operating within this app folder. So yeah, Not too much to take in, but if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Guys, if you are interested at all in programming and becoming a better programmer, I recommend that you subscribe to my newsletter, which is where I do my best work. I also have a code template called FastPocket, which allows you to build applications in Pocket-Base with a beautiful React front end, as well as a Pocket-Base backend. So if that interests you at all, if you want to build faster, check it out. I'll leave a link in the comments below. And guys, as always, thank you so much for watching.